Okay? Yeah, right. Different side of object. Project the data or object or view. Your view. Object. I say here is the object. I say here your views. Okay. And then inside to isometric drawing, you show here the views is the three types of this. Three types is your suppose is top view, front view, and left view. Okay, and so here's the object actual object will be shown here in form of 3D types. Okay, not here to this is a 3D object. This is a isometric object, but you can see here the 3D types, right? This we use inside this part. Okay. Right. Next one is your orthographic. What's orthographic? This means orthographic projection is used for the project your object, project your design in different form, different views, right? Project your design directly do by use of different ways, and this is also used for important for your drafting. Okay, because in the drafting section we define your projection is by the top view, left view, right, left hand side view, right view. Okay, and whatever you want to here, okay, show this part. Okay, I also explained this thing by use of the one drawing. Okay, let's see, where is my drawing? Yeah, here we have the drawing right here. You see here the drawing. This is your projection drawing, right? In this object, I take this type of object. This is my object, and then I take it and then show this type of things here. And this is here left hand side, front view, top view, and then also few other views. Okay, we have to define this object by use of three views, 2D views. This is are the only 2D views, and then they basically directly use for a view. You can use here. Okay, this is left hand side, front side, top views, whatever views you want to show here. And this is your position, and this is your isometric view, where you can use right and left side view, right? Okay, is my voice is not clear? Or everyone, my voice is clear to all of you? Hello, my voice is clear all of you or not? Hello, या फिर ये उमान आई थिंक है ना आपको आपके यहाँ सिग्नल्स की थोड़ी इशू होगी शायद इस वजह से वॉइस आपको प्रॉपर नहीं आ रही क्योंकि बाकी लोगों का वॉइस अच्छे से आ रही है तो फिर तो नॉट प्रॉब्लम इट माय साइड हो सकता है आपके यहाँ नेटवर्क इशू हो नेटवर्क आपका अच्छा नहीं काम कर रहा राइट तो उसकी वजह से भी वॉइस एंड वीडियो से विजिबल नहीं हो पाते ओके बाकी लोगों को तो आ रही है अच्छे से आवाज मेरी ओके ऑल हैव माय वॉइस इज क्लियर ऑल ऑफ यू राइट ओके एंड देन विजुअल्स आल्सो क्लियर ओके स्क्रीन का जो मैंने शेयर की वो भी आप लोगों को अच्छे से दिखती है यस या नो या ना तो बता दो. Next one is the orthographic projection. Today we talk about the orthographic projection. What is the also, sir? हम्म, मगर बाकियों को तो नहीं करती थी ना दिक्कत यही है आपके साथ हो रहा है तो जाहिर सी बात है फिर तो इशू है फिर तो आपके ही शायद नेट में इशू हो आई थिंक ओके क्योंकि विजय एंड देन अदर्स नोस आस्किंग दिस फॉर सेम प्रॉब्लम ओके दैट्स व्हाई यू तो मैं अब इसका तो क्या ही कर सकता हूँ अगर आपको सिर्फ ये प्रॉब्लम आ रही है तो अगर सभी को आ जाती तो फिर मैं समझ सकता था कि हाँ मेरे एंड से कोई प्रॉब्लम है मगर यहाँ से तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है मैंने चेक भी कर लिया पहले ही ऑडियो हो गया अच्छे से मैं ऑडियो अच्छे से काम करता है बाकी मैं तो आपके एंड से क्या करूँ ठीक है मैं स्टार्ट कर देता हूँ ओके रिकॉर्डिंग से हो ही रही है तो आप रिकॉर्डिंग से देख लेना अगर इनकेस अभी आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आया तो Then come to the pass of the next part is your orthographic. Today we talk about orthographic because isometric type I also discussed this earlier classes, right? And then all have you to learn the practice and do the practice on the case of the isometric. I also told about this isometric. Isometric is important for you, okay? For the mechanical student is important, okay? Not for other student because other student don't need to use of the isometric. Next one is the orthography. Orthographic is also important for us. Okay. Then you use here the deity and then write here the orthographic position. I write about the orthographic position here. talk about the orthographic projection. Okay. This type of projection we use to project the object on behalf of different, 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 different views and different portions. Okay, in form of 2D drawing, in form of 2D drafting. Okay, in form of drafting, right? For orthographic projection, we use two types of projections. First one is your first angle projection, and second one is your third angle projection. Okay. First angle projection is your ISO based. ISO based मतलब International Standard Organization based, and this is your for SASME. Okay. This is American based. Okay, may I am directly right here. So if you write work in the American side, these are the American based, right? Why were these things? And what we use the ISO based, not the American based projection. Okay, just we use the ISO based projection right here. We use the first angle projection. Not here is the third angle projection. Okay, we use first angle projection. If you know about this thing, I also share this file to group inside the group. This you can remember is what's the first angle projection, what's the second angle, third angle projection. This is just a simple example. Okay, is a proper formal example because here I take a simple example to fire as far as you were concerned. Okay. I just create here's a one rectangle first. After that, I create here's a line, two line, and copy it. This is one. Talk about this thing, copy again. Okay. And right here, this is my part, right? And DT I use here. And then this is my, suppose here, I create the front part here. Okay. Suppose I create the front part here, front view here. Suppose here I use a create a front view. Okay. This is my front view, right? Okay. Suppose here I create a front view. Then here, what's to create here? Inside is in this part, I create here next view. And next inside this part, I create the top view. Okay. This is my top view. Okay. Here we downside we create a top view, and then here LHS view. LHS means left hand side view. Okay. So if you create this type of thing, you can easily create right here. Okay. This is your left hand side view. If you create here, LHS means the left hand side view. Okay. Here we have to do this thing. First of all, create the front type view and then create a top view, and then after that, the left hand side view you can create here. Okay. By use of this way. Okay. And then again, I use CEO enter. And then here, if I create here is a front view, and then here I create a top view. Here I create here is a top view, and then here we create here is a not here is a left hand side here. This is your right hand side. Okay. And one thing remember, this part is always engaged. This and this part is always engaged. This is why we call the first angle projection, right? That's why this is called a right hand side view. Okay. So this views we can use to create, and this is called the first angle projection. We call this thing is the first angle projection. Okay? We have this is called first angle projection. Okay, if you create this type of thing, okay, by this way, this is called first angle projection. If you need it, then you can also take your screenshot for the your purpose, and then I also share this file to in say in group. Then you can also make this part. Okay. This is your first angle person, right? Where we have to create first view, and then on behalf of first view, create the left hand side view, and then create a lot of view right here. And then here, if you create here is the front view inside this portion. Then after that, here in the this direction is your right hand side, and this is your top view. And this part, this type of thing we can create here. One and two and three views is mostly used for to define any projection, any part, any objects. Okay, this is enough for defining any object for the three views of the three sides of the views. Okay. Then second one is used so for the third angle projection. Third angle projection is mainly used for this type of thing. Okay. Here we use your top view is here, front view is here. That's opposite of the just opposite of your first angle projection. And then here I use this and then copy this part. And then I talk about the third angle projection. Here I take the front view first. And after this, for this part, we use a top view here. And then first angle portion is your clear. And then here we use this part. Okay. This portion, if you clear this option and then down option, you can fill this. Then for down quadrant, you fill this. And this is called a third angle projection. And then in this case, if you have to show the front view inside this part and see or enter again, and then I copy this part. Here I put here the front view. And then here I put here to top view. And here I put here the left hand side. No, sorry, right hand side. This is called your third angle projection, right? This is called third angle projection. If you need it, right here, the third angle projection. Okay. And this is called my third angle projection. Okay. If you create these types of things, then you can create yourself. Okay. This is called your third angle projection. This is called your first angle projection. Why we first call to angle? Here we got this. Here I can fill this first quadrant position, first quadrant here value. I fill the first quadrant. That's why this is called the first angle. And here we fill the third quadrant every time. That's why this is called the third angle projection. And then upper section of the one part is empty. And then lower section of one part is empty. That's why we call first angle third angle. Just clear how why we call the first angle third angle projection. This is the reason we call this part. And then the both are same. If you create one thing, you can you create anything any one part side here, then you can easily calculate as to what you do as front pass left hand side and then what you do. Okay, one example is sufficient for you, okay, to do this part. Okay, this clear Adwan? And then if you need it, then you can screenshot, take to screenshot also. Then don't need it, then I can switch to the program, right? Okay. To switch as a one example. Okay, check here the one example for this part is the projection. I take the example of the one anyone. Okay, what's the example I take here? Any example you take here? Let's take by the internet projection example. Okay, so I take simple example for your creativity, not a hard example. Okay, by the workbook I use this not to this part. 1 second, I make something else. Uh, so okay, I take this example, right? To copy this, see you enter. come to this part, and then I create this of type of example. First of all, I create you isometric view of this part. Then how can we create it isometric? Just use the highlighter first. And if you want to do it so iso plane, you can also use it still for this part. Why the iso plane is not working? Okay. Here we take here is a highlighter first, and then here I create the isometric to the distance of this part is your 50. Okay, this is my part is created. Okay, next one we use to create here is my this part, right? And then first of all, I create this one, this part first of all. Here is 25. Then again, I put here is your other part right here is your 12. And then here this is part is your 25. Okay, I think we'll do is wrong. Not a 30, I take it at 30 first. And then here I use a 12. And then again we use a 25. Then again we use a 12. And then again we use here as my 25. Okay. And then start with your example is your 12, right? And then we use here is 25, and I use here is 12. Okay. This is simple isometric drawing, right? So I also explained this as earlier. And yeah, this is 20, and then I just click on it. This will be created, right? And this part will be created, and this part I want to create here. And I also use this part. Okay, and the next one I use here, this point to this point. Okay, and this portion is not needed to see here. Then I erase this part. Okay, this will be created, right? And then come to the next part is here, is your, and next one is your straight here to the straight line is your 20. And what you do? Here you can create to this part is your 25, right? And then you can minus this by 20, 75 to the 20, then what you get here, 55, right? And then after this, you can just add on it. Okay. After this, again, I create here one line. To the distance is here to here is your, what's the distance is, I think is it mentioned or not? Okay, this is my I check here is your suppose it's 20, okay? Whatever you take here, it doesn't matter. Okay. I take here as a 20 again, and then here 25. Then here is 20 again. And then here we take here is a 20, 20. And then this portion to this portion, right? And this portion to this portion, okay? Get it. This will be 3D, okay? This will be your isometric drawing, right? Then by use of this your isometric drawing, you can create here your distance, right? To projections one, okay? 1 second, I also take here this distance is okay. This is my 25, right? Okay, I to take. 1 second, I delete this part because I do wrong. Is L and then check here is a 25. Okay, now it's here so 25 don't. This is your 20 is your 25 is your 20 again, and then here this we have the 25. Okay, the next one what you do this point to this point. Okay, and this point to this point. Okay. Okay, this is your isometric drawing, and then by on behalf of this drawing, I create here projections. Okay, how to create the projections for this purpose if you need this, and then how to do this projection. Okay, for this purpose, you use a projection line. Projection line is your construction line. Construction line in the sense I talk about the construction line. Also, they show the projection line, construction, construction line. And also we call about the projections line. Okay, first of all we talk about the projections line. Okay, we have two types of projections line. Okay, we use for the projection. First one is your construction line. Construction line. By use of Excel is a shortcut of the construction line. Okay, and the second one is your ray line. And for the shortcut of ray line is RAY. Okay, this line doesn't have endpoints. Okay, this line doesn't have endpoints. This is infinite line. This is infinite line. Infinite line. Okay. And this is also infinite line. This is also infinite line, but have start, but have start. Okay. That's why this is called the projection. How can we do this a projection line? For the Excel first, I enter here and then click on the any direction. Here we have this line. Okay, this is my infinite line, right? We talk there, we show this. This is what goes to the infinite way. Okay, this is called projection line. And then we click anywhere. You can create anywhere in this side the projection. This is called the projection line. Okay, I delete it. And this one is your projection line. Axle is here. And then for the vertical and horizontal, we enter for the vertical. Okay. And if you Excel again and then enter for the horizontal. Okay, this is the horizontal line, right? And then if you want to show any direction, then you can also create here to any direction anyway. This is your simple construction line. And for the ray line, if you write here as a RAY, this is my ray line. Start the first point, and then after that, next point it will be end point. Okay. Next point is any direction you can show here. It's an end point, right? This is your ray line, and this line useful for your construction, construct your projections. Okay. Then this line will be used for the projection value. Okay. How to do the projection right here? Where I can use by use of this way. I just use it. How to do it? Do it. Okay, come to this part is here projection. How can we create the projection right here? So for this part, I used to create this type of projections. Okay, the front end views, left hand side views, and if whatever you use, I check first of projection right here, and then by on behalf of this projection, I create other values. Okay, then how can we do this part? To this part, we use here. What is this parts? What we do? Check here which type of projection first of all check here. In your workbook also we can have this type of examples here. I uh, this is my front view. Okay, first of all I create this view. Okay, so how can we create this part? Just first of all I take a Excel first. This is my Excel file. Okay, and then two lines I check here. Okay, and then what you do? First of all you do offset. OF enter. O enter, and then offset is your 10 mm. Okay, default offset of this lens is the use of the 10 mm. First 10 mm here, second 10 mm here, then above the 10 mm and below the 10 mm, right? And after that, trim this part, and then I delete this portion because I don't need it. Okay, and then this part, you can also create your sheet also. Okay. And then come to this part, I create, so first of all is front view. Here we create, here is the front view. And then here, I don't need to create anything inside this. That's why I can delete this portion because I don't need it. I get this portion, and this portion right here. Then how can we create this front view? If you show this here, you can just come to this part. If I show this example, and come to this section because I need it here. I just paste here because I need it. Then I say just show is imagine that what we see here. We see this T portion 1, 2, 3 and straight line format. That here we have the distance of 12, right? So first of all, I make this type of thing, and then this is my distance of 25. So if you're 75, right? Then what you do, just use the offset command, and the right here is a 12 distance, and then click here to above. And after that, I want to click and then create a 55, right? Here's a 55, and then here you distance 55, right? Okay. And then inside this part, and then this will be also your visual portion. This is my 25 distance, this is my 12 distance, right? Then what you do? Here, collect in this portion again, and the right here is a 25 above. This portion will be created, and then after this, just trim extra part. Those don't want here. Okay, try trim hits in this extra part also, and this will be outer structure of the object will be created, right? And after that, I want to create in this portion. Then how can we do this part? So how can we make this thing? To come this part here, to show this here, we have this option of this part is 20. 20 and 75, how many values are there? Is 55, right? Okay. So one thing, first of all, offset it, and then offset is your 25 first. Why? Because I want to create this line also, one, and then also two. Okay, we do the wrong thing. I think I do wrong. Okay, I think gets the wrong value. Okay, I want to offset again, and then here write the 75, not 55. I think I write here is 55, right? That's why we. Okay, this is good. And then just check this dimension of this point to this point. What's the dimension they show? Is 55. Oh, yeah, 37. 12 plus 25 is 37. Okay, this is correct. Okay. And then one thing I use here to offset is this line to the 20 distance. Okay. And then after this, I offset this to the 25. And I offset this to the 25. Okay, this is good. Okay, that's clear. Come to this part, trim in this part, and then I don't need it and this one also. And after this, I trim here this portion. Okay. And on side this, I again offset this, and then offset distance is my 20. Okay. Take here as a 20 distance as offset. Select here, and then this is my 20 distance, right? And then trim this down portion because I don't show the down portion. And then here, what you do? Just L enter first, and then this point to this point I right here. And then after that, I don't know this point and don't need to be this point, and this no point also. Yeah, I need it. Okay, then what you do? Just GI enter. First of all, this one deleted, this one deleted, this one deleted, and this one deleted. Okay, and this will be portion I make here. Okay, and then if you show this in this form directly, so this portion will be shown as the top position. Oh, sorry, front position. This is my front position. Okay, this is portion will be shown here the front position. Okay, this is called the front position, right? Then come to the next part is want to do what to do. I want to make this thing by use of the top position. Top position is that this part. Okay, above section we use here. This is called a top position. And then on behalf of this part, we can create a top position. Okay, then how can we create here the top position? To the two of these first, we use a ray, right? And this portion will be created, right? And I want to project this point first. And then after that, I project this point. And then after that, I project this point. Okay. And then after that, I want to project this point also. Okay. Every single points I project here. Okay. For showing these values. And then one points I also want to project here. All the points I projected. Okay. And the next pass I don't need here to the trim it. Okay. Just project a line and want to show it. Okay. Then I just trim this part. And also don't okay, yeah, this line will be projected, right? Okay, this line will be projected, right? So 3i enter and then to stream this portion, okay? And then next one is yours. I know about this distance. This distance is my 50. Then what you do? Just take this the offset distance is your 50, okay? So right here is the distance is 50, and this distance will become as a 50. And then trim is extra portion, though I don't need this portion, okay? Then this portion will be created, okay? First of all, I just want to do, I delete this portion. I delete this because this will be confusing. First of all, I create other portion right here, okay? Then how can we create this portion? Just wait a minute. First of all, I use the offset, and then offset is to, is my is 12. Okay. So why we take here is a 12? Because here this portion will be have the 12, and then right here is a 12, and then take here is the offset distance is 12. And after this, take here is the offset distance is 25. And take here this offset distance is my 25 again. Okay, so you also take this portion again. Okay, one thing I also do is wrong here is not take here as an offset 25 and 25. This portion also I want to create here because I deleted okay, unfortunately. And then what you do? Just use this trim command, and first of all I trim in this portion. Okay, this will be created, right? This portion will be created. After that, I want to create other thing. Okay, here we check the offset point is my 20, and then also check here the offset point is here 20, right? And then for this first portion here, I check here is a 25. Okay, and then just trim, use a trim command, and then delete this portion, delete this portion. Okay, and then others will be happen. Okay, if you see that the upside of this part, this will be created. Okay, this portion will be shown. Okay, I also, if you have a time to, I also create this part by use of the 3D way, and then make this thing. Then come to the next part. I want to show the left hand side view. Left hand side view in the sense this type of this portion of view. Okay, this portion of view I create here. When we show at the front face, then you can. This is my left hand side view. So this portion of view I want to create here. Then how can we create this portion? First of all, I use a ray line, the entry, and then this portion I create here. And the next one is your ray line again. And here we use this portion. Okay. Then come to this part. In then one thing I use, I trim is first this portion because I don't need it. This part, and then also I trim opposite. Okay. And then this use the single view of 50 per 50. This is my total distance is 50. Then what you do? Just use this offset first, and then right here is a 50. And then take here this to this. This is my 50 distance, right? And then again, I want to display this portion, this step portion here. So 25 I take here is 25. Okay. Again, the other things I also explain here later. So first of all, I create this tree, and then I just remove this part and then click this point. And after that, I want to show this portion also. Okay. But on behalf of the dash line, okay, on behalf of dash line, you can create this portion also. Okay, you can mention this portion also. Okay, this portion to watch here, this portion. Okay, I want to show this portion. Okay, this is your dash line by use of hidden line. Okay, then how can we do this? For this part, we have the 20. Is my suppose here is 25. Or cannot say that 25 is my suppose no, this line is not in the form of dash line. Okay, not here. This portion. Okay, this is my backside version. Why? That's why we can showing this portion is by dash line. Okay. First of all, I trim this line. Okay, I don't need here. The straight is offset first, and then I take here as a 12 because this distance is my 12. Okay, and this distance I convert into form of the. I first of all load the hidden line. Okay. For the hidden pass, you can show the defined by use of the hidden name. I select it and okay, then okay. This part also I explain as later part. This is my hidden line. Okay. And this way you can create your hidden line. Okay. Okay. This way you can create here. This is your first simple projections. Okay. Then simple projection you create here. Okay. Okay. You see enter and I trim this because here. Okay. By this way you can create this type of projection. This three phases will shown by making by this part. Okay, you just assumption check here to how to look like to the top position, down position, whatever it is this. Okay, then I can also create this part by use of your ourself. But suppose I want to create here for this part by use of your 3D mode. I also create there and show the how to look like in the 3D mode also. First of all, 1 second. Okay. So first of all, I check here. Come to this part, I create a 3D portion also, and then I create a make a new file. Yeah, first of all I create the first portion, right? Okay, to the L enter whatever enter you want. I take a L enter. Here we take a 50 distance. Okay, and then here we take here is a 25, and then 12, and then 25, and then here is the 12. Okay, I don't teach you 3D. 3D modeling is come after the completing the 2D pass. But here I show to how to make this portion. Okay, this is okay. Okay, one thing I also use here to Al enter, and then after that I want to create this portion also by use of yourself is Al enter first. Not here is a first enter. I use a 20 enter. After then I create here is a 25 line, and then after that I create this portion trim. Okay, and then yeah, also I want to create offset command, and then take the offset is 20, and then here we take the offset, and then here we take the offset, right? And this portion we take as offset of 25, right? Okay. Then come to the this part is trim. Okay, this value portion will be created. I create a top face first, and after the top use of the top face, I make a 3D first. Okay. So I don't teach a 3D face, then don't ask me the question how to make this part. I just create this part for your knowledge, okay? Not for the 3D part. Okay, 3D modeling I talk later onward when we can complete my 2D part. Okay, then we use it. Okay, then what we do? I take here is your pass of this pass. Okay, and then make this portion, and then this is my 12 distance, right? And I want to also to make this portion is about the distance is my total distance is 25 plus 12 is 37, right? So take here is a 27, right? And then also I want to show this portion is 37 again. Okay. And then one thing I do here, take a line and then draw this line. Okay, good. And then I want to create. Okay. This will be shown. 1 second, I show this in form of different way. Okay, this will be shown. Okay, that's good. Select all, and okay, come to this part. I show the each and every faces of this part. Okay, first of all, I show you this the front face. What you see here is a front face. This is your front face, right? And same face we create here, your projection. Okay, same face we create here by use of the projection, right? Okay, this line is not needed here to delete it. Okay, this same projection will be shown here, right? I also defined by use of the 3D way. Now this is your front face. Now this part also my front face part, right? Okay. If you show this same thing by use of this top view, then how can we do this top view? Okay. Just I convert this part in the top view. This is my top view, right? Okay. This is my top view. Okay. So you can show here is by your top view, and then if you want to do this, I can okay also by use of this way. This is my top view, and same is look like this portion. Okay, this top view portion, right? And if you want to show the left hand side view, just come to this path and then I just change this view in the left hand side. Then what you see here, here we show this path. Okay. And this is this line. Why? Because this is yours, the is your back portion. That's why this portion will be shown as the dash line. Why? Because this portion is back and not here to engage this portion. Then that's why we show the dash line. Okay, this portion, and then this will be mapped by as a dash line. Dash line is for showing this part of this section. Okay, this part. This is the your projection. This by use of this way you can create your projection. Just assume this bar, any parts of the any object of the path, and make different of the angle position, angle views. Right. This is so simple way, right? And by use of this way, you can say create this type of thing. That's clear all of you how to create and then how to make the projections. I also make this 3D because I want to need to clear you all self to what the projection is do. Projection is due for which views form you can show the object, which way you can show your object in better way. That's clear all of you? Yes or no? Yes. This is clear all of you. This is just a projection. You can create any of the projection. All the object projection is same as like first phase. You can remember that what's the first phase, and after the use of first phase, you can create other phases also. Okay, by use of the first phase, you can create other phases also. Then this is your projection topic. I think this is clear all of you. Just practice this